Cool. What's good, everybody, and welcome back to another video. So I'm going to give you guys the analysis and the breakdown, the recap of the trade that we're currently in right now with gold. So we end up taking two trades already this morning. We end up taking a sell position really early. This one did play out for a 101.4 risk to reward, which did over 70 pips. We did re-enter the same exact position, but at a different entry price, which again, we did end up securing another 101 risk to reward over 60 pips, which did end up hitting take profit 3. So at this one over here, we have obviously both this trade here is out of break even. This one is very close to get stopped out of break even as well. As long as price action can actually hold underneath here and does not wick us out, then we'll be good with this trade. But as of right now, basically we're trading very near to the entry. But on top of that, let me just give you guys the analysis very quick. We're gonna go over explaining why exactly did I take this trade, right? So first thing first, what we always do whenever is a new day, right? We're always going to be marking up the previous day highs and the previous day's lows, right? Again, the previous day's highs and the previous day's lows, the way that I use it is most likely for liquidity sweep, right? And also for potential targets, right? Now, when I mean by liquidity sweep, let me give you guys an example. So let's say this is the previous day's candle over here. We have the previous day's highs over here. Let's say that this candle, now the new candle that opens up, we open up in the middle, but then price action starts pushing up towards the upside. These are going to be a zone where price action might have a type of reaction from it, right? What I mean by type of reaction, it can probably either reject it, take out the highs over here, grab liquidity towards any type of the left side, for then price action start having a nice switch of structure to then continue to move towards the downside. In this case, this will be the sell opportunities, right? Now for the buy opportunity will be very similar, right? We have the liquidity sweep towards here, which is the previous day lows, which price action is going to come back over here, most likely sweep out these lows over here, maintain itself above it, and then start having the switch of structure so that we can start pushing towards the upside and then target any type of levels that is from around these zones, right? Now that is technically what happened in this morning session, right? We have the daily highs from over here, which is going to be set at the 33.75, and we also have the daily lows over here, which is going to be set at the 33.60 33.50 area, right? Now coming back towards the 4-hour time frame, right? We're gonna go over yesterday move, right? Yesterday move, we were technically in a ranges, right? From one point towards another point. So we had a range starting off from the 33.75, which is also gonna be the daily highs from yesterday, and then we also have the daily lows over here from yesterday, which is gonna be set at the 33.60, right? So technically, we did see that gold was ranging from up and down from yesterday, right? So this was yesterday move, and then during the Asian session, right, or during New York session, this was a very nice exit that we had yesterday. So we go back here in the 30-minute time frame, we did have a very nice exit, especially at these highs over here. This was our overall target, which price action did end up hitting for the 1 and 3 risk to reward. Now look what happened later on, right? We did tap towards the zone, and then price action started having a drop, a very strong push towards the downside. We came down to these levels, which is going to be around the 33.52. If we go back into a 4-hour time frame perspective, where exactly is 33.52, the same exact zone that we broke down yesterday, right? So we go back into daily, you guys can see the daily perspective even better. Yesterday we marked up two highs. Remember, we marked up this high here, which could have been a potential pullback towards a, and then we also marked up these highs over here, which was another level from the 4-hour time frame perspective, which, as you guys can see, price action did end up rejecting and maintaining itself above it. That's exactly why we end up taking those buy position from yesterday, right? But if we look at it from the 4-hour daily time frame, this was another buy zone that I did mention to you guys, which is going to be around the 33.50 zone, which noted exactly how price action had a very nice pullback towards this level. We respected it, grabbed all of these entire demands. A lot of buy orders were being filled around these areas, which obviously pushed the market even higher, right? Now, during the London session, right, this can be like the very early Asian session, right? We did manage to break out of these entire highs over here, right? The highs was going to be around the 33.75. But remember what I told you guys, the reason why I use the daily time frame perspective, right? The daily previous highs, daily lows. These zones over here can most likely be areas where price action can have the liquidity sweep, right? So if we go back into a 4-hour perspective, we can see that we had previous highs over here, one high, and then we also have another high, which price action had an equal high towards it, right? Now, if we look at it from the left side, notice exactly where price action formed that new weekly high, which was today's market, 33.86. We look at it from a left side perspective, what do we have? A zone over here, which was previous areas of support, which at one point price action was trading above it. We did maintain itself above these areas of resistance. If we take a look left in the other side, we also have another areas of support. So support here, support here, support here. We keep looking at it from the left side. What do we have? We have another zone of support, another zone of support. At one point, it did use it as areas of resistance, which we did see some type of selling action, right? So in this case over here, if we go back into a daily time perspective, my bad guys, if we go back here into a daily time frame perspective, you guys can clearly see these exact zones, right? Resistance, we have support, resistance, we have support, we have resistance, we have support. Price action has broken underneath. We got the pullback, liquidity sweep towards these two previous days highs, came back, retested this exact structure, which price action did end up rejecting. If we go into a 1 hour time frame perspective, it might look even better here, so you guys can have a clear view towards that. Look at that, we just got stopped at a break even with this trade. All right, cool. So you guys can take a clear look at this over here of the 1 hour time frame perspective, right? What do we have? We have support, we have support, we have support, support, right? Price action came over here, rejected this exact zone with this entire strong bullish candle. We have a very strong bullish candle towards the upside, rejected off that structure over here from the intraday time frame. We took out these highs over here, so we have one high taken out, we have another high taken out over here as well. So again, remember the liquidity sweep that I use it for, we can either be potential targets or it can be areas where price action is going to have, the liquidity sweep towards either heads toward the upside or towards the downside. Now, once price action obviously had that rejection of these structures over here, the 3386, and have taken above these highs over here, all we simply waited for was for price action to again trade underneath these exact levels, right? Now we were ranging from one point towards another point. So if we go down here to a lower time frame perspective, all we're gonna mark up here is just the lows from the previous lows, which is gonna be the London lows, and then we're gonna mark up the current highs. So very similar market structure to the one that was yesterday. If we look at yesterday market structure, we were ranging from point A to point B, which is all of this over here. Right, so we're going to put this another color, we're going to put this orange. And if we look at it today's market perspective, we're doing the same exact thing. We're ranging from point A to point B. So the point A in today's market is going to be the 3380, and the point B for today's market as well is going to be the 3368, 3367, or 68 in a dot, right? Now, the reason why we took this out this morning was very simple. So check this out. We have the retest of this entire intraday structure, the 3386, 3385 zone, which was previous areas of support. We also took above these previous day highs. We have days highs from yesterday, there's other highs from yesterday as well. This was Sunday market open highs. This is Monday market open highs as well. So this were the previous day's highs where price action came out. We took those highs, rejected this previous structure, and then we started trading underneath these exact levels, right? So in today's market, we technically did trade inside of a ranges. Right now, it was very simple. The reason why it was very simple was because, again, whenever you guys trade in a range, you guys obviously have the basic logic, which is, hey, if price action comes to point A to point B, we're gonna see that point B bounce back up to point A, and then if it bounced back to point A, that means that it's gonna bounce back down to point B. And if we look at the market structure from today, that's exactly what price action was doing. We were holding above the 3367 zone. We were holding underneath the 3380 zone, right? So again, point A, point B, point A, point B, point A, point B, point A, point B. Now, the main question here is, why did I go for sell if price action was also bouncing off from point B? Now, again, the reason why we went from sell is because we look at this from a higher time frame perspective. So we go back here towards the 4 hour time frame, right? We do see the 4 hour push towards these exact key levels. This key level is the 3385 zone, the first zone that price action had the rejection from. On top of that, that's the first confirmation. The second confirmation, on top of that, we broke and took out previous day's highs. We have the previous day's highs over here, which is the 3375. What did price action do afterwards? We start trading back underneath these exact zones. So again, whenever we're looking for sells, we don't really look for them right away just because price action had a reaction from a previous structure, right? Now, this is something to keep in mind because this is where a lot of mistakes are being made from. So you don't really sell the market just because, hey, price action is coming back towards these areas of support. We might use it as areas of resistance. We might start seeing it sell. No, this is where you guys got to be very patient with, right? Because again, you have the previous high, which was the previous higher high that formed this new, what was this form over here? This new higher low. So the idea will be for price action to come back, retest the structure, retest or take above these exact highs over here. And then from there on, this is exactly where we want to see price action to start trading underneath. Once we start trading underneath, this will make way more sense than actually taking the sell from right above these highs over here. Now, the reason why I say that is due to the fact that price action, if price action will start coming back towards these levels and maintain itself above these highs over here. So we have the 33.7, let's say this over here, the 33.36, right? We have this previous high. Let's say that price action comes back towards this level, comes back towards this exact area. There's a chance, right, probability that price action is going to respect it and start building up that support form to then start heading back towards the upside, right? Obviously, there's always going to be a 50% of probability towards these exact scenarios, right? So the best bet is to always wait for price action to be underneath. Once we're underneath, that's exactly where we can start looking for those sales opportunity. So if we take a look at it from today's market perspective, again, we have the rejection towards the major zone. We have the break underneath these exact highs over here. We end up taking these highs. Price action starts trading underneath these exact zones, right? And obviously on the lower time frame perspective, all we're marking up is just the ranges highs, ranges lows, and then we're just looking for the type of rejection, right? So in this case over here, if we look at it from a 30-minute time frame, right, we just got stopped at a break even. We're noticing that obviously price action is holding above the 33.71 zone. 33.71 zone has been holding very nice already the past couple hours already with this New York session. So let me just delete all of this. We made good returns this morning. I actually did very good this morning. I did end up closing out a lot of profits, so I'm very happy with today's results. Honestly, we did end up taking 2 trades, so we're basically at a 1 to 2 risk to reward for the day. So let me explain to you guys what is happening as of right now. So again, we're just bouncing off in this 33.70 zones again towards these highs over here, which is gonna be the 33.78. Now, for me to re-enter this trade, how exactly am I gonna re-enter? I'm only going to be looking for sells as long as price action can hold underneath these zones. So as long as we hold underneath the 33.79, the 33.80 to the 33.76, I will be looking for a sell opportunity. Now, if we do see a candle closure above these highs over here, that means that the market is no longer trading inside these ranges. That means that there is a proper breakout. So if there's a breakout towards the upside, there's 2 scenarios. Either one, we take above these highs, we respected it, and then price action just grab some type of liquidity, retest any type of supply zone over here from a lower time frame, so that price action can start retracing back underneath. Or we might just get that proper breakout, retest this entire ranges for price action to start trading back above. Right, so it's gonna be those 2 type of scenario that we might see for during this entire New York session, right? So in this case over here, we're not gonna be entering the market. We just closed out this second position over here at break even. So we did end up securing a 101, 60 pips. This one was 70 pips. Very good return. So we're basically up at 1 to 2.4 risk to reward for the day. So we're going to be patient here. We're not going to be forcing a trade. We got to make sure that price action trades underneath the 33.80 and the 33.76. Once we're underneath those 2 zones, then this is exactly where we may enter another position. So that's pretty much it, guys, for these analysis. The market breakdown is very simple. But before we end it, let me show you guys as well in a buying perspective, right? A buying perspective is very similar. So let's check this out. We have previous areas of support, breaks underneath. We have this zone with 1 point over here, start using as an area of resistance, right? These areas of resistance are also going to be known as supply zones, right? Price action has to break towards the upside. We get the full pullback towards these levels, retest this period supply, which turns into a demand zone, right? Once it turns to a demand zone, what do we have? We start having these type of lows over here. So take a look at this. Another way to take a look at this can be, the 3 models, which is the accumulation, the manipulation, and the distribution. So we have the accumulation here, which is the ranges, up, down, up. Then we have the manipulation towards the upside, and then we also have the distribution. So we come back, we retest these entire levels. We have the previous demand zone, which respects the demand, and then we start taking above all of these entire lows. So that means that price action forms this new low, breaks above, forms this new high, and then now forms this new low. This is going to be considered as the equal lows, right? We're all respecting these lows and we're trading above it. So these are the zones where we can start looking for the bounce place, right? But again, the only thing that really messed up this entire structure for the day, and as well, this is where you got to be very cautious, is just due to the fact how price action is trading from a range from point A to point B. That will be the only way. Now, if price action starts having an actual breakout, then that means that price action can start having actual direction to then target back towards these highs over here, or let's say that price action starts breaking underneath these lows over here. Then we simply start looking for more sells, right? And then we can start targeting any type of lows that is around these exact zones over here. So that's pretty much exactly the setups that we caught this morning. It was very simple, nothing complicated at all. Now at this point, like I told you guys, we're just gonna wait for price action to do its thing and then actually give us another entry if it's worth taking. If it's not, then we're just gonna call it a day. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I'll see you guys in the next one.